criticism and applause of the current SAE board?
Well,
Just one.
yeah.
Just one.
Just one? All right. For applause. Your Springfest is supposed to be good. As far as criticism is concerned, this has been the most anti-club administration I've seen since I got here. The auditorium apparently disagrees. This has been the most anti-club administration I've seen since. This has been the most anti-club administration I've seen since I got here. We've got event planners trying to tell us how to run events, even though we've had club executive boards successfully running events since Lyndon B. Johnson was president of the United States. We've got an objective inability to get money on time. The Senate takes forever to move things in our budget adjustments. We're fighting with subboard. There's no communication between the treasurer and the other two candidates who have to sign things. It's taken me over a month to get a check, and I've done everything right in the process. The finance system is flawed, the communication is flawed, the clubs aren't trusted, autonomy's being restricted. This is a perfect storm of objective failures as far as SA clubs are concerned.
I want to agree with Travis. Yes, the club is the biggest fault that we have right now with the SAE board. One of the flaws that I was saying is we had finally, after 3 years being in the school, we have credit cards on the student union. It was about time. Everybody had promised that. They brought it up to us. But I think he mistakenly said something, and I take offense to it. It was the Senate's taking forever to move money. That is inaccurate. The Senate has met every other week, like it always does on President. That is when a budget adjustment is given to us. So the Senate has been able to give the money to the clubs as soon as possible. Now what the SAE board has lack on is on the fact that, yes, finance is taking forever. I myself personally took 2 months to get a refund check. And it is time for us to move away from it. It is time for us to make sure that our bookkeepers have the experience, have the knowledge, that our treasurer has some finance experience. It is not just enough to be president from a club to be a treasurer. You need somebody that knows what finance is. The treasurer is not somebody that is going to administrate. He's somebody that needs to understand what a budget is. And that is the reason why we have Justin on our ticket.
Okay, I'm going to try to stick to the original question. One good thing that I've seen from the e-boards in the past, not just this past e-board, but overall since I've been here, is that they've done a good job of advocating for students. When you look at what they've accomplished 24-hour busing, 24-hour libraries, getting campus cash more accepted around, not just in the student union, but everywhere. So they've done a good job listening to what the students want and then advocating for that. What I think is truly lacking, and these guys have pointed on it, but the problem is, they're talking about the clubs, but the truth is, only about 6,500 students participate in the clubs. That's roughly 40% of the undergraduate population. And too much focus is going towards that, or not so much, too much focus, because we should be focusing on the clubs. The problem is not enough focus is going into the other 60% of the students who aren't in the clubs, and they're just getting completely ignored. They're getting ignored on their opinions about fests, they're getting ignored when it comes to their rights and what they should be able to do around here. And just overall, we can't ignore 60% of the population that is getting and paying their $94.75.
Darwinson, in what ways would you empower the SA Student Assembly?
I believe the student assembly needs to be taught better on what they could do. At the beginning of the semester, on October, we're gonna have 150 assembly members. As the year goes away, less and less students are gonna be involved in the assembly. But they don't know that they are the main body that they have the power to make a constitutional amendment. So they have most of the power that they need, and they just have to, again, after the constitutional amendment is submitted, they have to show it to the Senate. I feel like to empower more assembly, we need to let them know that at the beginning of the year, we're not just gonna show in there with all the appointments and be like, these are the people that you have to approve them. No, we need to send them a resume. We need to send them a bio about these people so they could know them. Because what happens when what happens is when we appoint people, assembly needs to approve them. But usually what's been happening is that assemblies usually just approve them blindly. They don't know who these people are. So I think if we'll be able to show this, who are the people that we appointed and why are we appointed, what qualifies them, assembly will have more power on the decisions that we make, and we'll be able to check what we're doing. Because if not, they just blindly, quote unquote, checking just because the system says so, but they don't know what they're doing.
I just want to clarify. The question was, what's one improvement that the
SA student assembly.
Okay, the SA student assembly. One thing that I feel that the assembly could improve on is representing the right groups of students. And I feel like there's two in particular groups of students who are overlooked that the assembly should be empowered to form committees around, to form and help. And that is the non-traditional students and the commuter students, because a lot of their needs are getting overlooked. But if the assembly was able to empower themselves, make committees around those groups of students, make sure that everybody is getting a fair shake and represented, then we'd have a more effective assembly.
We don't need a bigger assembly. What cripples assembly right now is its inability to communicate. Now, there's a number of ex officio members of the assembly: the elections credentials chair, the delegates, the environmental chair, and I'm the student affairs director. What we need right now is the delegates and the environmental directors and the student affairs people to be able to come and work with assembly. So assembly and the student association can be working in tangent. Get the pure voice of the assembly out there, along with SA's excellent ability to communicate with the students. Let assembly be the brain and SA be the mouth. You get assembly's thoughts out to the whole public. That's how we get sufficient advocacy when something happens like, after this financial aid crisis, administration wanted to give us part of our financial aid in campus cash. Assembly should have been in arms about that. Student affairs should have been up in arms about that. If SA and assembly were working together, we could have had just fierce populist turnout, and then this administration would know that we won't be silent anymore. But get SA working with assembly. Get the people who are appointed as assembly on assembly. Get them to go to assembly, and that's how we win.
A common complaint often lodged in large organizations is that departments do not cooperate as well as many would desire. What are some of the things you can do to promote staff cohesiveness and morale?
Staff
Cohesiveness and morale.
There we go. Staff cohesiveness and morale. In particular, when it pertains to large clubs?
With SA staff.
Okay, so just SA staff. How to increase morale and participation mainly is through one way. And I believe this, and I said it in my Spectrum forum, and that is people will find a way to do what you want to do. It's not that students aren't motivated to do anything. It's that we're not setting up and putting people in charge who can create the avenues for the students to do these things. So what do we need to do with SA staff? First of all, we need to eliminate the unnecessary positions, obviously. If there's more than one person doing the same job, that's just wrong. Take a Disney approach to things. Give each person a specific title, a specific description of what they're supposed to be doing. And if you outline it for them like that, and you find a person who isn't just qualified, because qualifications are often overlooked. It's not necessarily how many people they know, what positions they hold, it's what do they want to bring, what energy can they bring to this position, because that's what makes good companies great, that's what makes good organizations great, that's what can make SA from average to great. Finding the staff members, putting people in those positions that don't just have the credentials, that's just a small part of it, that have the energy and the passion, that want to see. I pride myself on being one of these students who want to see big changes and good things for UB. And it's run through SA, obviously. Allow me, I've been shushed away by SA so many times just because I don't know people, I don't have the credentials, I haven't been involved in SA. Well, now it's time for us, the people who are like me, and I know there's students out there throughout the campus, because I've seen them, I've talked to them, they want to do something, want to make a change. Just because they're not involved in the club, they can't get involved. That's terrible. It's time to find these people. They're out there, they're going to come to you. Put these guys in staff positions and actually put some energy back in SA. Energy and passion, because that's where great ideas come from. That's where great environments, and that's where a great UB can come from. So how are you gonna solve all these problems and make UB good to great? You're gonna find staff positions, and you're gonna vote for MVP, who can bring passion, energy, and ideas, more than just a resume. And that's the way that we're gonna improve SA staff and out.